your perspective on true spirituality is so skewed and so warped. This is the reason why you just absolutely outwardly refuse to embrace it, because you think that it doesn't exist because it's just non-existent. Your imagination, non-existent. And the religious empire does everything it can to vilify true spirituality because they don't want you to connect to your true roots, your true essence, the presence of your state of being, one with all things. This is unified interconnectedness, the divine collective consciousness. They don't want you to know where that connection point is in here. That's why they have you go search outside yourself for the everything of everything in your life. That's why you don't embrace it, because you don't believe it, because you don't empower it, you don't accept it, and you're not willing to receive anything from it because you don't think it exists. That's why they go, here, look, material comforts, creature rewards, look, possessions, things you can see, things you can hold, taste, touch, and smell, things you can put in your bank account, a house, roof over your head, clothes, car, everything you need for your family to be happy. Because they gave you the definition of what happiness is. Because your idea of happiness is money, comfort, possessions, materialism. That's your idea of happiness. That's why you have a skewed, warped, perceptive lens on what true spirituality is. The indigenous souls were deeply connected to the roots of our Mother Earth. They didn't have any online shopping. They didn't have cell phones and the internet. And there's a lot of other things they didn't have that this society is carrying that causes a rift between your soul and source. The farther away from source, the more degraded the connectivity and receptivity, until you have 100% latency. And that's where we are in this time right here. Because they have caused you to have such a skewed perceptive view on what spirituality is that it's just bunk, it's garbage, it's nonsense, it's make-believe, it's made-up stuff, it doesn't exist. So you don't even regard it as anything. So in that sense, it's just an absolute waste of time. And what they want you to believe spirituality is, of course, tie-dye t-shirts, incense, candles, sage, crystals, all that stuff. Of course, that is spirituality. Nothing to do with spirit. Everything to do with commercialism. Spirituality is a personal journey. It doesn't have anything to do with crystals or feathers or going to an online store or visiting a little crystal shop in some village somewhere. Some quaint little out-of-the-way place on the weekend when you have some time. That's not spirituality. Because you have to pay for these things. Here's a crystal I like, add it to my collection. That's $10, this is $20. Next thing you know, it's $300 in crystals. How's that spirit? If I have this crystal, it'll bring me closer. If I get that, it'll make me feel better. If I get that, it will help me heal myself. Do you realize the brainwashing going on here? It's just more of the same. If I have that, it can help me with myself. How's that possible? How do you associate something external with assistance inside you? Unless you intend on swallowing something of that nature, which is not advisable, because we're all made of the same energy. They've convinced you of these things. You need this in order to be happy. You need this in order to be rich. You need this in order to be successful. If you want to get into spirit, we've got that corner covered too. We've got the bases covered on that. You need incense and sage and crystals and candles and all these things you need. That's what will connect you to spirit. No, that's what connects you to disingenuous spirituality, the phony false identity. This is the reason why people dye their hair and the reason why people get plastic surgery to remove the wrinkles, and they get false teeth, and they try to make their appearance younger to fit in with the socially acceptable, aesthetically pleasing beauty of the youth. In other words, somebody's in their 50s and they want to look like they're in their 20s, so they dye their hair and they make themselves look as young as possible. That's the false identity to fit into their system. And these are the same people professing to be spiritualists that are having online crystal stores in their wire wrappings, and they've saged and Reiki infused candles. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. You don't need any of that stuff. All you need is you. Because something outside yourself cannot help you if you fail to help yourself. When you help yourself, you don't need anything outside yourself. And you don't need anybody. If you're looking for guidance or instructions, answers, directions, support, and you feel a little lost in life, then you venture outside and you inquire. And that'll help you shed light on some situations. And then you can begin the inner work, because that's what teachers are for. But you're not going to tout them as the end-all be-all and keep them in tow every day, every second of your life. You can't just cart them around with you, like a buddy. Just walk with me every second of my life, no matter where I go, stay with me. They're not going to do that. You have to be the one to be there for yourself, realizing that all of that stuff is nonsense. You don't need anything outside yourself. You don't need crystals. Do they carry a power? Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I did an earlier video to say that if you feel yourself drawn to these crystals, that means your angels want you to have them for some specific reason that's going to help you in your journey to get you to another place. As like an augmentation, like a little bonus package, like sprinkles on the cake. It's like a little, extra push to help you along. It isn't that you're solely dependent on these things. Like, if I don't have it, my world's going to collapse. You got to get that notion out of your head. These things just as an augmenting or an amplification or help you a little nudge here and there. But once their time is up with you, release it to somebody else. And it's their time to have it. It's good to have these things in life, crystals and such, but you don't need them. They're not a necessity. It's something that you want, not something that you need. And it's something that your angels know for the moment that's good for you. It isn't like your whole existence is just dependent on having this crystal, or else, your whole universe is going to implode on itself. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. You just have to be able to differentiate between phony spirituality and the real thing. The real thing doesn't have anything to do with clothing or jewelry, online shops, stores, tiny little out of the way, little mom and pop stores that sell crystals and such. That's not spirit. Because they've got a cash register in that store. It's all about money. That's it. Spirit has nothing to do with money in the sense that it's not in the exchange of goods and services in a system. It's the exchange of energy, frequency, and vibrations in the universe between yourself and everything else. So just get in conscious contact with what is exactly going on, and that'll help you ground yourself in yourself. And from there, that's the foundation, the starting point from which all of your beneficial elements of prosperity and abundance, health, wealth, happiness, and peace, shall originate from. Because it starts with you, not from crystals or online stores or other people. Always with you. Always with you. Always with you.